शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगं शान्तिर्द्यौः शान्तिर्दिशः शान्तिरवान्तरदिशाः शान्तिरग्निः शान्तिर्वायुः शान्तिरादित्यः शान्तिश्चन्द्रमाः शान्तिर्नक्षत्राणि शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिर्वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्गौः शान्तिरजा शान्तिरश्वः शान्तिः पुरुषः शान्तिः ब्रह्म शान्तिर्ब्राह्मणः शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः शान्तिर्मे अस्तु शान्तिः.
Oh Mother Earth, dear Mother Earth, you are the nourisher of all lives. We will protect you, we will cherish you, we will worship you for generations to come. Thank you, Mother Earth, thank you. We will save you, Mother Earth. Thank you, thank you.
Earth being personified as Bhudevi in our culture and is directly worshipped as Goddess Lakshmi herself. So taking care of her is a compulsory duty for all of us. Vishwambhara Vasudhani Pratishtha Hiranyavaksha Jagato Niveshani Vaishvanaram Bibhrati Bhumi Ragnim Indra Rishabha Dravine No Dadhatu. The simple meaning of this is salutations to the Mother Earth. She is all bearing, she is the producer of all wealth, she is the foundation on which we live, she is the protector by providing a dwelling place, and she holds the Vaishvanara, the universal fire within her, and may the Mother Earth bestow on us through the splendor of that fire and make us strong.
C&D waste from the society. The C&D waste, if you send it to a C&D plant, it gets converted into aggregates, small and large. You can utilize them for construction. You have RDF coming out of the municipal solid waste. This can be utilized as a fuel in the cement plant. You have industrial hazardous and non-hazardous waste. You can utilize that as a resource, as a fuel and raw material in the cement plant.
Short while from now, we move into the second edition of Earth Day celebration by Loyal Group.
Good morning to all. Since 1970, 22nd April is celebrated all over the world as Earth Day to raise awareness on environmental issues and to protect the planet Earth. As part of Earth Day celebration, Loyal Textiles has organized this seminar on sustainable business practices. On behalf of Loyal Textiles and on my own behalf, I welcome the distinguished speakers, my colleagues, and all others attending this event. Mr. T. Kumar, Executive Director of Precot Mills, is a renowned textile technologist having rich experience in textile production and processing. Mr. T. Kumar is kind enough to attend this seminar to share his valuable thoughts and experience on sustainable recycled products with value addition in textile mills, a topic having more relevance in today's context for textile mills. Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, BEE Accredited Energy Auditor, is well experienced in energy audits and energy saving practices. Energy savings in textile mills is highly important to cut down cost and reduce carbon footprint relating to textile production. Mr. Ashok Sethuraman is with us today to speak on energy saving practices in textile mills. I welcome both Mr. T. Kumar, Executive Director, Precot Mills, and Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, BEE Accredited Energy Auditor, for this seminar. I also welcome my colleague, Mr. A. Ramakrishnan, Vice President, Works, who will be speaking here on sustainable practices in Loyal 2021-22, and Dr. M. Ramakrishnan, Senior Vice President, HR, who will be speaking on role of individuals in reducing carbon footprints. I take this opportunity to highlight few points relating to climate change published in the Hindu on 21/4/2022, that is yesterday. Only 5 points I'd like to mention here. Since mid-20th century, that is mid-1950 onwards, the global temperature has increased significantly owing to human activity and is proceeding at an unprecedented rate. The heat-trapping nature of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases has resulted in rise of average surface temperature by about 1 degree Celsius since the late 19th century. Global sea levels are rising due to global warming, with recent rates being unprecedented over the past 2,500 years. Sea level rise in North Indian Ocean, this Bay of Bengal Arabian Sea, has accelerated to 3.3 millimeter per year in the last 25 years between 1993 and 2017. The most important factor is due to rising sea levels by the year 2050, a significant number of property and infrastructure in Kochi, Trivandrum, Mumbai, Chennai, where we are living, Vizag, Mangaluru will be underwater. This is the prediction done based on a report done by an expert agency appointed by the Government of India. Under this context, to contain further damages to the environment, earth, air, and water, and to save the planet Earth, we have to adopt sustainable practices in business and also in our daily life as individuals through letter and spirit. In business, sustainability can be ensured only when the industrial houses maximize the usage of renewable resources and utilize the resources most judiciously and reduce waste by reusing and recycling. What causes more damage to the environment is the imprudent usage of coal containing carbon as a key input for generating power. The CO2 emission, carbon dioxide emission, on using coal as fuel for generating power is estimated at 1 kilo per kilowatt hour. If we use 1 unit of power, that means we are a party for emitting 1 kilo of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This is the impact of that. We are consuming millions of tons of coal and emitting continuously million tons of carbon dioxide every year. If this is not controlled, this will jeopardize the environment further. We have to control this to save the planet Earth. The only solution is to adopt sustainable practices in industry in every possible manner. All cannot generate power, but all can save power. If you save power by 1 unit, we can avoid carbon emission into the atmosphere by 1 kg. In the same way, by reducing waste and reusing and recycling products, we can save natural resources for future generations. Sharing of knowledge and experience by all 4 speakers who have come over here will be quite useful for enhancing awareness and rededicating ourselves to implement the sustainable business practices through all possible means. With this, I welcome once again the speakers, Mr. T. Kumar, Executive Director of Precot Mills, Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Accredited Energy Auditor, Mr. A. Ramakrishnan, VP of Loyal Textiles, Mr. M. Ramakrishnan, Senior VP, and all others participating in this seminar. I am sure this will be quite useful for all of us to take further measures to save the Mother Earth. Thank you all. Welcome once again, everyone.
Respected Chairperson, respected guests, and members of our loyal family, I am here to present the practices followed by the loyal groups across all our plants regarding sustainability. We are proud to say Loyal is a green company. We believe in working in living in harmony with nature. Our late chairman
VP sir, please unmute.
Hello.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes. I am here to speak about the sustainability projects followed by the Loyal Group across our all plants. Actually, we are proud to say Loyal is a green company because we strongly believe in the poly philosophy, living in harmony with nature. Our chairman, Sri Manikyam Ramasamy, was a pioneer. He is a forethinker and he was a natural lover regarding sustainability. He always compassionate and wants all lives to live in harmony. Even 30 years ago, he thought of rainwater harvesting, reusage of sewage water, and reusage of waste, and implemented various projects in these areas when other Indian corporates are not so aware about these issues. He was a pioneer in these areas. He strongly believed in the Panchabhuta theory and emphasized that when all Panchabhutas work in harmony, only the mankind can survive. He started a project to collect sewage water from Koilpatti municipality and process it through sewage treatment plant and use treated water for creating lush greenery in the plant. He developed rainwater harvesting plants 20 years ago in all plants. He has created kosalas in all our plants for nurturing cows. In Kovilpatti and Satur, lot of birds like peacocks live peacefully in Loyal. We are the first company in Asia, Southeast Asia to be certified IMS for ISO 9000 quality, ISO 14000 environment, and ISO 18000 safety in those days. So we were a textile company who has developed, strongly believed in environment protection and initiated a lot of activities for developing such an environment. In Loyal, in the footsteps of our late CMD, we follow sustainability goals with intensity, and we have taken a lot of projects and followed up. Every week, we have sustainability meetings. It is conducted under the chairmanship of our chairperson and executive director, and the progress of the projects are monitored. Following are the projects now being taken up in each plant. Actually, this is the sustainability framework. We work upon it. So we concentrate on energy, reducing energy consumption, water consumption, and material resource management, GHG and other emissions, and waste management and reuse. We have efficiency matrices regarding these things in every project, and small groups are working on it. In LTM, we have 7 projects. First one is STP revamping. Actually, the STP what we were having was developed 20 years ago. So we want to improve upon with latest technology and use it more effectively. For that, a small group worked and installed, and successfully it is completed. And we are treating our sewage water and the size wastewater and reusing the output of water. So this helps us to realize the goal of water saving. And we have signed an agreement with the Government of India to change our all motors to IE3 motors for energy saving. Already a project is started, motors have been coming, and we are started installing. A small group working on it also. And though we have rainwater harvesting in all plants, all buildings are not covered. So this time we want to cover all the buildings in our plan for rainwater harvesting, and we are working on it. A team is working on this. And we want to create a paperless office where e-governance is in place, and we want to save a lot of paper, because saving one paper is saving one tree. So in all across, especially in the sales and accounts functions, we use a lot of papers. So a small group is working how to reduce these papers. And waste mapping. We are already having a hard waste opening machine in which we are we are opening the hard waste generated from our autoconer hard waste and the fabric chindis our knitting, and we are reusing the waste in our open end spinning. we want to develop a full-fledged waste opening plan, and we are creating a waste opening plan at our Vodapatti, where we want to use not only the existing hard waste and also woven fabric beads and used garments, and we want to have a full-fledged waste recycling plan. A group across all our plants of LT and BTM are working on it. And we have an inside group for energy saving by arresting air leakages and optimizing compressor usage. This group has started from the March 22. And another group is working on it, optimizing the humidification plants for energy saving. In BTM, we have 3 projects. One is arresting the air leakages and reducing air consumption to improve the energy saving. And we have there also we have a water mapping team to calculate how many waters are used in each activity and how to reduce the water consumption, how to reduce the wastage of water, how to reuse the water. A group is working on this. And rainwater harvesting also, we have another group working. There also we have a lot of small buildings. All the buildings have to be covered in the rainwater harvesting within this year. So we are working towards it. In CTM, we have 5 projects. One is creating biogas through our Kausala and eliminate LPG cylinder consumption in our canteen and messes. And we have a lot of barren land there. We want to produce red corn inside our premises and create cultivation of land which will be used for our Kausalas. A small group is working on this there also. And another group is working on to improving the power factor, to maintain power factor as per the TNEB norms. This will help us to reducing the KVA, and also government guidelines we will be following it. And another group is working on it to use BLTC fans to save energy. And there also we are, after completing Loyal, we will be installing IE3 motors in our Sindhamani units also. There also we are already started negotiating with the government of India and started creating agreement for this. In SVTM, we have 4 teams. One team is working on afforestation. We are developing Miyawaki forest by planting lakhs and lakhs of trees across our plants to make it more greenery plan. So a group is working on afforestation. Another group is working on solid waste management for usage of our old way of floor room card waste and all, to use as a floor mat or pillow and all. They are working on it. And another group is working to improve our solar power projects, to reuse natural energy, to use green energy. And we have another unit to use the condensate water from the boiler to reuse, so that a water consumption will be reduced. All these 4 teams are working actively there. In LSF also we have 5 teams. One is there also we are having a water, because in processing lot of water is used. So they want to reduce the water consumption. How to reduce it? For that, a team is working on it. They are now control use of excess water use in CWR. How to do it? They are studying it. And another group is working on to create heat exchanger for CBR and CWR, so that steam and steam can be reused and water consumption can be reduced. And another group is working on to create a chemical storage tank to storage hydrogen peroxide and acetic acid. This will help us to use these chemicals more effectively and without further wastages. And in another group is working on to create energy saving in soft flow machine. Already one machine has completed for sample, and another machines they are working on it. And there also we have another team to collect the rainwater harvesting in all the buildings there. And all these teams have been planned to use to achieve their objectives within this financial year. Actually, we are also in the process of obtaining Made in Green certification from Okotex Weinstein for dyed fabrics and garments. We want to get certified for ISO 14064 for reducing the carbon emission. So CFP reports are already there. Audit is already committed. We are shortly going to be certified for ISO 14064 from spinning to garments for all our garment articles. This is the Ocotex sustainable textile and leather production. We are going to involve in this also. And we are become the member of SBTi to drive ambitious corporate climate action. And we have committed to become net zero emission by 2030. So we are one of the pioneers in the corporates to get these net zero emissions and certified for ISO 14064 and all. So in the footsteps of our late CMD Manikamala Swamy, we are marching in our sustainability front. Thank you all.
Now we are introducing Mr. T. Kumar, who is a graduate in Textile Technology and Business Studies. He is having 30 years of experience in spinning, knitting and processing industries and worked in various positions. He has visited 27 countries for business promotions. He is now working as an executive director in Precot Mills Limited and responsible for spinning and sewing thread operations. Now, Mr. T. Kumar will speak on sustainable recycled products with value addition in textile mills. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So thank you very much for the introduction. Madam Srimati Valli M. Ramaswamy, CEO Mr. Vellangiri, speakers Dr. M. Ramakrishnan, Senior Vice President HR, Mr. A. Ramakrishnan, Vice President of Works, Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, B. Energy, Accredited Energy Auditor, Mr. D. Devadas, CTO, distinguished guests, each and every pillars of Loyal Textiles. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam and good morning. First of all, I am really happy that Loyal Textiles is organizing a program with the concept Save Planet Earth, Sustainable Business Practices on the eve of World Earth Day. I indeed feel honored that I have been asked to speak in front of this environment conscious audience. 25 minutes are allotted to me. I will be requesting 5 more minutes. In this half an hour period, I will be presenting the subject of sustainable recycled textile products with value addition in textile mills. Mostly, I would be covering the subject in spinning perspective. Anyhow, it is understood for the subsequent processes too. Before I really touch upon the core subject, I felt to cover some points on the sustainability and why we need to think about recycled products. Can you allow me to share screen, please?
Yes, sir. You may share, sir.
So the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So even though both companies, Loyal Textiles and Precot, are working together for quite long, the trade volume is significant since last 5 years. We from Precot would like to sincerely register our thanks and gratitude to the management of Loyal Textiles for their continued support. Now let us move on to the presentation. The whole world is talking about sustainability today. Exactly what it is. Definition. So we have different definitions. One definition is sustainability means avoidance of depletion of natural resources in order to maintain ecological balance. Sustainability is the ability to exist and develop itself without exhausting the natural resources needed for the future. We know there are several factors that the current natural resources will not be sufficient for long. So sustainability becomes important. Why is it important? We know very well sustainability has a lot of advantages both in short term as well as in long term. Sustainability also will ensure availability of clean air, water, and atmosphere from important sources in future. You are aware that we are celebrating World Earth Day today. Without sustainability, we cannot preserve our ecosystem of Earth. If we continue to do like what we are doing so, if the harmful processes are retained unchanged. Though we are moving towards green energy, green fuels, still the fossil fuel is dominating the energy source today globally. Without sustainability, it is assumed that fossil fuel will get exhausted and it may not be available for future generation. Huge number of animal species will become extinct in this world. For a short while, let us look at sustainability in the Indian perspective. The table shows air quality measured at PM 2.5 level in top 10 cities in India, whereas WHO norms say it should not exceed 10 micrograms per cubic meter annual mean, and not to exceed 25 microgram per cubic meter in 24 hours mean. As against 10 or 25, so most of the cities it is more than 10 to 20 times. So Patna being highest, Delhi being highest 153, Patna is 149. See the data in red color. Each 10 microgram per cubic meter elevation is associated with approximately 4-8% increased risk of all causes of cardiopulmonary and lung cancer mortality. Is it really threatening to India? Look at this table. There are few cities, mostly located in south and northeast of India, are performing much better in air quality, much closer to WHO norms. But still, there's a long way, there's a long gap between these cities and other parts of the world. So Newcastle, Australia is only 3.2 microgram per cubic meter, and Australia Gold Coast is 3.9. So the far wide difference. So the air pollution definitely needs to be improved in Indian cities. Though I have written here as an Indian perspective, but it is applicable globally. Look at the reserves of fossil fuels available as in 2020. The crude oil will last for 50 years. So after 2070, so we may not get crude oil for a requirement. The gas, natural gas, will be there for another 50 years. And coal will last for the next 114 years. Imagine a world after 50 years or 100 years where we will be short of fossil fuels unless otherwise we replace them with green energy and green fuels. It will be difficult for the future generation to survive on this earth. So far we have seen about air quality. With respect to water, we know India holds about 4% of worldwide fresh water. Indian Metropolitan Water Supply Guidelines mandate 135 liters of water for each per capita per day. We are ranked 133 in the world in terms of water availability per person. As per experts, the number of liters per capita in India, the year 2011, it was 1,548 liters. In 2025, they are estimating as 1,465 liters, and by the year 2050, it would be 1,235 liters. It's depleting year after year. This is a small statistics which many people may not be knowing about the water consumption. We need 6,800 liters of water to cultivate cotton to produce one pair of jeans. Most of the young generation are very happy to wear jeans, but they may not be aware that it needs 6,800 liters of water. 2,700 liters of water to produce one cotton t-shirt. That is equivalent to 900 days of drinking water per person. Also, we need 2,500 liters of water to make one burger. The young generation, again, very crazy about eating burger. A car with the tires need 1,47,400 liters of water to manufacture. So amazing figures, which needs attention from the current generation, and it really pushes us hard towards sustainability goals achievements. So far, we have been talking about the problems what the whole world is facing. It was facing, it is facing, and what we may face in the future. To counter, what are the sustainability development tools? Broadly, so it is defined in three categories: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we will see the definitions now. The first tool, reduce, the best of the 3 R's, and also the most effective way to manage waste is not to create. So in spinning, for example, now the removable waste today, it has become a norm that to maintain less than 0.5%, whereas 5 to 10 years before, we were happy if somebody gets 2%. The usable waste also should be kept under control below 2%. And to reduce saleable waste and to improve OER. So I have given examples of spinning, but it is applicable for weaving, processing, and garment industries also. Basically, reduce is to reduce the waste to maximize the resources usage. The second tool could be reuse. The second best are, if you think to do away with an old item, stop first and consider ways you could reuse it. So there are many ways in spinning and other textile processing companies in which now if something becomes obsolete, so it can be reused somewhere, so that now getting the new item for that particular area can be reduced or avoided. The last but not the least sustainable development tool is recycle. It's the last stage of waste hierarchy. So from now we will pick up the core subject, recycle, and how recycled products can be made successful in the textile industry. The recycling comes under a global recycling system. All the recycled products are certified under GRS process. These are the few benefits of recycling. By recycling, we can prevent pollution and protect the environment because we are not using the same energy and resources as we are using normal and new. It helps us preserve natural resources, ensure, such as water, timber, minerals, and save energy too. It can also have a positive impact on economy since it provides a domestic source of materials and create jobs in the country. For example, if something is imported, when those products after certain use, it is reused, there is no need for re-import. So it does have a positive impact on the economy and it creates more jobs. The experts say the recycling industry can create more jobs than what normally standard procedure goes. These are the few impact of landfills. After usage, people throw and become land. Time required to decompose. Most of the materials being used globally takes 100 plus years. The plastics takes 1000 plus years. We all know why plastic ban is gaining more importance, and the need for that is because it takes 1000 plus years to decompose. Textile garments comes in between, it is 200 plus years. They say by 2050, it is estimated that ocean will have more plastics in it than fish will eat. So when somebody eats fish, so they are not only eating fish, they also eat plastics. That is a statistic. The current status of recycling industry. In 2018, the total recycling rate was 23.5%. It is a global average. Germany tops the list with 56.1%. Recycling in textile is 14.7%. This is a sector-wise recycling status. We all are aware that 68% in paper and paperboard industry is recycled. Steel containers and packaging also does well with 73%, whereas in aluminum containers it is 35%. But as you shall know, textile is lagging with the 14.7%. Let us look at the size of global recycling industry. In 2020, it was $55.1 billion. In 2022, they are estimating it at $60 billion. It is growing at the rate of CAGR 3.6% between 2017 and 2022. As far as textiles is concerned, in 2020 it was $5.6 billion, and they are expecting it to grow up to $7.6 billion by 2027. So we have great potential in recycling, and everybody is working towards that. So under textiles recycling, so we will try to catch up some important data and possibilities how recycling can be done in textiles. As far as cotton yarn is concerned, so we have two significant different categories. Yarns from post-consumer waste, and the second one, yarns from pre-consumer waste. Post-consumer means the garments and apparels after the usage by the consumer. The pre-consumer means before the fabric is made into garment or apparel. So before the consumer using those garments or apparels. So these are the two main categories we will be covering under textiles recycling process. Recycled cotton yarns from post-consumer waste. Mostly this concept is popular in woven and spinning. The reasons are obvious. The recycled from used dyed garments and apparels. We may get a colored OE yarn at grey yarn price. It is gaining momentum in home textile sector. If you look at a market like Karur today, it is plentifully available where post-consumer waste recycled yarn, somebody can go and buy even small quantities. If you go to a open spinner, and if somebody is looking for 100 kg, 1000 kg, and different colors, so it is becoming like a retail shop now in the home textile sector. Because we know the open yarn, mainly the coarser counts, it is going for home apparels where quality requirement is not so stringent. So post-consumer waste made recycled yarn becomes more and more popular. Also, it makes sense. If somebody is getting a colored or dyed OE yarn at crayon price, so economically it makes sense for the consumer, for the brands. Also, it serves the whole purpose of recycling why it is being done. So post-consumer waste is popular in open spinning, and mostly it is gaining momentum in home textile sector. Though it is so popular in open spinning and home textile sector, there are a few challenges why it cannot be adopted in other sectors or other garment usages. What are the challenges? Managing different colors, contaminations, quality of finished garments, service life of garments. We know if a spinning mill is producing yarn from grey fiber, okay, it will be grey cotton. They will not venture into run dyed yarn simultaneously because of contamination issues. And today we have thousands of colors available for garments and other usage. So when it comes to post-consumer waste made yarns, so managing different colors suitable for different applications becomes a problem. Contamination, as we discussed, so color to color, color to white, grey to white, grey to color. So all type of contaminations problems may arise in the finished garment. Because we are extracting the fiber from the garment, the length of the fiber cannot be more than 17-18 millimeter. So the shorter length fiber will not give the required necessary quality of the finished garments. And because of that, the life of the garment also will be shorter. So these are the major challenges when somebody is looking at post-consumer waste for outerwear or critical applications in textiles. The second category is pre-consumer waste, which qualify under pre-consumer waste. Extracted fibers from yarn hard waste from spinning industry, extracted fibers from grey fabrics. So maybe it can be knitted fabric, it can be woven fabric, but it should be grey. Earlier they were recognizing common oils also as pre-consumer waste, but not now. As I explained earlier, the extracted fiber, either from hard waste or grey fabric or post-consumer garments, the length of the fiber is estimated around 18 millimeter. Because of that, Textile Exchange, the owner of the standard of GRS, has given a very clear guidelines. What are those? It should be carded yarn only. The maximum count that can be spun should be 24s. Maximum recycled content can be 30%. This is with regard to pre-consumer waste and with regard to ring spun yarns. These are the popular categories of applications with pre-consumer waste at maximum 30% recycled content and counts less than 34s. Knitted garments, so In many cases, it is for outer use also, innerwears, and household articles and home textiles. There are a few advantages with the pre-consumer waste recycled yarns over post-consumer waste recycled. It is grey and no major issue to process in spinning, knitting, weaving, and processing. It is of less risk in sourcing raw materials. So it will be easy to source and categorize it properly before proceeding for spinning. Acceptable quality of finished garments, though the quality of the finished garment is going to be slightly inferior than a fresh quality, but it is acceptable.
So it's got stuck. Huh?
Yeah, please.
அன்மியூட் பண்ணிருங்க சார், வாய்ஸ் கேட்கல, ரெக்கார்டிங் ஸ்டாப் ஆயிடுச்சு.
You can start again now.
Yes, now it's able to hear you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Under polyester fiber, recycled fiber, the GRS guidelines for textiles are as follows. There are no count restrictions. You can spin because you get longer length fiber without any problem. It can be combed also, but you have to prove that the polyester fiber goes through combing. It can also have 100% recycled content. The current trends and the need for recycling in textiles push. Textile is already in lag when compared to other sectors which we have seen in the previous slides. Now, European Union has mandated its brands to comply minimum 20% of its product under recycling. So it will come into force from 2025. Availability of raw material is improving now. 5 to 10 years before, somebody would like to do recycling textiles, the raw material availability and sourcing those raw material was so difficult. But now availability of raw material. Today, there are many suppliers in India who can give us pre-consumer and post-consumer separately. In the industry today, there are many products in the market under sustainability umbrella. Call it organic, call it PCI, call it CMI. But recycled yarns are proving to be more sustainable than others because it is easy to understand. Trust is far better compared to others. Brands are working on improving trust among consumers. That is the reason there is a big push by global brands towards the recycling of textiles. As this concept is to safeguard resources for future generation, consumers also give more importance in promoting and buying more of a recycled product in the market globally. Towards recycling and its promotion, we have taken certain action at our end. We have dedicated one spinning mill of 25,000 spindles for the production of recycled cotton yarn. We started this process a year and a half before, and today we are close to that now. As of now, under cotton yarn, so we are producing roughly about 200 to 300 tons a month. We will be able to offer yarns with a combination of recycled with organic BCI contamination-free cotton. Though GRS guidelines restrict the products as carded and less than 31st count, we can offer combed and 40th count, for which we got a special permission from Textile Exchange. Under blended category, we have made arrangements to run 50,000 spindles for the production of recycled polyester and cotton beans. In this factory, we will be able to offer yarns with a combination of recycled polyester with the recycled cotton, organic cotton, BCA, and contamination-free cotton. My sincere suggestions to the textile industry, maybe for Lyle, is to think about minimum 30% of total production under sustainable products like recycled organic USCTP. USCTP is nothing but US Cotton Trust Protocol, where they try to create more trust between user industry and the consumers, having more traceability. To work towards carbon neutral in a long term as an industry perspective, to process more products which are and which will be in demand for the society. With this, we come to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Nandri, vanakkam.
Sir, I'm Velengri. Thank you very much for your good presentation. Very heartening to note that you are already in the business of recycled 25,000 spindles you have spared for the purpose of recycling. It is very nice. You're also adding capacity of another 15,000 spindles. Certainly this will inspire us and also to take this forward, to take a cue from this and try to allocate some spindles for this purpose. Thank you very much, sir. It's a good presentation and a very enlightened one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We request you to please stay until the end of the program for the QA session. And I request all the participants to put their question and answers in the chat box so that all will be answered at the end of the program. Thank you. Now we will proceed with the program.
Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, who has completed his BSc and BTech in MIT, is an BE Accredited Energy Auditor with 42 years of industry experience. He has completed 450 energy audits for industries in India and abroad. He has also conducted energy conservation training program in industries and association pan-India. He has published energy articles in National Technical Energy and Textile magazine through his website energymeasuredtosave.com. He also shares his webinar lectures through his YouTube channel named Energy Measured to Save. He has recently published 4 online books on practical energy conservation in industries and textile mills and buildings, which are all well received by the industries. Mr. Ashok Sethuraman now will speak on energy saving practices in textile mills. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma. Thank you. உங்கள் எல்லாருக்கும் பணிவான வணக்கங்கள். I thank you really for giving this opportunity to the Loyal Textiles Management, and I sincerely feel this energy saving practices in the textile mills is the need of the hour, especially in the crisis of supply demand situation, especially on the coal handling systems throughout India. And this is the time we have to involve ourselves in energy conservation, which is going to be the priority. Thank you, sir, and I am proud of giving this session to you as this one, energy conservation in textiles. Thank you, sir. I will just share my screen. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Actually, all the screens are put here. If you want, you can also. So we can, yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you are sharing the screen, it is fine for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. To start with, the energy efficiency is the key to the survival for the textile mill, especially now on this rising. That is, it is not rising. It is just going up like anything. The cotton prices and the end yarn prices. In this time, at this time, we have to see how much of energy conservation and efficiency is possible, and we have to prioritize the energy conservation. This is what yeah, this is what we have been. In fact, I should say I am very happy that I have been associated with Loyal, and we have done the energy audits almost a decade back, and we have come across so much of energy saving potential is there in our mills. So if you visualize the decade-old existing equipments which are running inefficiently, definitely it is high time the energy conservation and efficiency goes together to the mill's benefit, and we have to survive in the market and serve the nation also. Next, please. And this energy conservation, all the textile mills, everyone thinks it is only the responsibility of the electrical department. It is not like that. In fact, having done more than 450 energy audits, we stated that the management take the initiative and the commitment, and all the departments are involved: maintenance, electrical, mechanical, production, and quality, especially the quality. See, quality is the department which says this is the parameters which is demanded for the process. But definitely optimization is possible in the textile mills, and we have done this, and 5 to 10% is definitely achievable in the textile mills, and we have to work proactively towards implementing the energy conservation measures and the industry management. It is always with you to achieve the energy savings. Thank you. Next, please. Coming to the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, we always say, the BE always says, always monitor your energy input to target its reduction. What is happening in the textile mills and what is happening in India? I am just giving an analogy from thanks to our APJ, our beloved past president APJ Abdul Kalam. He used to say, he is our college senior also. He used to say, from 35% we have brought down to 20% this T&D loss. And this is what we have been contemplating on the textile mills. We can achieve a lot of more. Transmission distribution losses can be reduced in many of the areas, especially on the utility energy flows, especially on the compressed air, especially on the humidification plant, especially on the waste collection systems. If you see precisely the voltage drops in the electrical system or the current unbalance, these are all the monitoring points. These are all the pain points in the industry, textile mill, where first the safety is achieved first. Say, to tell you more about the energy saving, safety is the base platform upon which the energy conservation can be achieved. So unless the safety is ensured, the energy conservation cannot be achieved. That also has to be taken care. Then comes the power factor, especially on the electrical side. We always try to maintain at the power house towards the satisfaction of EB. It is not required now. It is to be done for our side. Each and every equipment has to maintain around 0.8 to 0.9 power factor. Then only the final thing addition can be done at the power house to maintain a unity power factor around 0.98 power factor at the EB end. Next, please. Here, thanks to this more than decade of energy audits, we have come across the textile mills are evolving now. We have gone from reactive maintenance, breakdown maintenance, to preventive maintenance, to predictive maintenance. Many of the group mills, pan-India, in north as well as in south, we have gone for this predictive maintenance, the condition-based monitoring maintenance. This only can bring in lot of energy savings to the textile mills, where the optimization towards the utility energy flow as well as improving or restoring the productivity improvements, that is also possible by this condition-based monitoring. Next, please. Here in this predictive maintenance, if you see it is a universal graph which says it is applicable to all the industry. We have been tuned to, since 10 years or 20 years back, we have been doing the corrective maintenance, run to failure, that is at the bottom right side, and now have come to the preventive maintenance, and now we are going to the predictive maintenance. You can see the thermography. See, having done many of the energy audits in ITF based mills also, each and every mill above 10,000 spindle, they are using this infrared thermal imager very meticulously, and you can find wherever the hotspots, where the flow of energy is there from end to end, wherever there is getting a hotspot, that is a point to be immediately be attacked and get the energy conservation done, and energy saving is possible in each and every point of utility energy flow. So thermal imager has been used by most of the textile industries now. And then comes the predictive maintenance like ultrasonic or the sonic imaging, especially it is used on the compressed air, where at a single image you can see so much of compressed air leakages. I was just towing in line with your schedule of preventive maintenance and this energy conservation. Compressed air leakages is a part and parcel of textile mill. More than 20 to 30% is happening, and some of the mills are having more than 50%, and the best mills are maintaining around 10 to 15%. So you see, where do we maintain our energy loss? That is the compressed air energy losses. It is a loss, visible loss. It has to be immediately attacked in the mill. Then comes the precision maintenance. That is the next stage. But this vibration analysis, especially on the ring frames, we have done a lot of vibration study also in the ring frames and other high capacity equipments. We find the equipment is prone to failure probably after a month. Immediately you are able to sense it, you are able to correct it. This is the area we do the energy auditing and the energy conservation procedures within the mills. I don't say somebody externally has to come and do it. First, let us try to have it done from the external energy auditors, and then internally let us start the energy conservation. Let us have a brainstorming session on each and every week to have the energy conservation done in each and every department, and everyone has to contribute or proactively work on this energy conservation. Next, please. The textile mills, they talk about this energy efficiency, including our loyal textiles. I am just I'm talking to you very plainly because some matter has to be talked very plainly. We are talking about energy efficiency for years, but this energy conservation can be done with a return on investment of few months. Recently, we have conducted an energy audit, and almost 70,000 units per day, and almost it's a 40,000 spindlage. Having done the energy audit, we gave almost 6,000 units of savings per day. That MD, he immediately said, sir, recently only I invested almost 5 crores to have 1 megawatt of solar power, and I'm able to generate 5,000 units. But you say within 1 crore, you are able to achieve the 6,000 units of energy saving. This is where I should say, I should appreciate, or I should adore our MR, sir, the founder. He is a visionary as well as a pioneer, especially after a decade back we have done the audit. We could find almost 3 megawatt of solar power was available in Valli textiles. Why I am telling this is, when 5,000 units, we are spending 5 crores per that 5,000 units, you are able to achieve this within a crore in this energy conservation. This can be done in our loyal textiles also. You are consuming almost 3 lakh units per day. Assuming we will target the reduction of, say, 20,000 units per day. If we target, we will be just spending, say, 20,000 units means we will be 4 megawatt is the power, and almost we will be spending almost. See, this is the area. Instead of spending 20 crores, simultaneously we can spend around 5 crores to retrieve back or restore back or recover the losses, energy losses of more than 20,000 units per day. This is our target. Bureau of Energy Efficiency, I had been to your mills, not only for the energy audit. I came as a part of a BE team to do the monitoring and verification in our mills. We found there is so much of scope is there in our mills on this energy conservation side. Only thing, we have to prioritize the energy conservation. See, it is a nice thing that we have taken these motors right from our multiple rewounded motors to IE1 motors to IE2 to IE3. Now we are in IE3, and some of the compressors we have IE4, IE5 motors also, and the BLDC motors are on fans. Now everything is on your schedule and it is on target. It is nice. But the motors less than 10 HP, it gives more than 10 to 15%. That you achieve it. See, prioritize the energy conservation or the energy efficiency replacement. Wherever the scope is there, energy savings is there, you achieve it first. That will motivate you to go to the next level. Pumps efficiency. Many of the pumps that is running in our units, it is around 30 to 40% only. Now the latest generation pumps, thanks to the 5-star ratings of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, almost 70 to 80% the pump efficiency is there. Straight away on the pumps you can save around 20% here. Then on the fans and blowers, especially on the AC plant, that is the humidification plant, and on the blowers, waste collection blowers, we are running our systems around 30 to 40% only efficiency. The efficiency is the area which none of the OEMs also, the fan OEMs also talk about it, but we have to talk to them. See, a loyal textiles means we need a standard, we need a norms to demand from the OEMs. This is the norms, or this is the flow, or this is the static pressure, or this is the deliverables from the OEM that we are able to achieve in our system. And as far as the compressors are concerned, many of the textile mills are still running at almost 250 watts to 300 watts per CFM. Where are we now? And the best mill is achieving almost 130 watts per CFM. If I talk in terms of the production percentage of the units per day, almost 2% is only consumed for the compressed air in the best mills where we have recently audited now. Next, please. Transmission distribution losses, as I said, this is happening in our humidification plants. What all we have generated in the humidification plant, that is not able to reach to the tail end of the mill. This is the area we have to concentrate, because the RHN temperature, or the moisture impregnated air is to be delivered to the cotton and yarn in stages. If this is happening, definitely the humidification plant will not be a liability to the mill, but it can give you a productive improvement to the mill. You can increase the productivity of our ultimate yarn kg and count, that is kg, by having the moisture ingress gradually from preparatory to spinning to post this one at the auto corners. So the temperature and RH at mist eliminator, we are always maintaining around 95%, but how much is heavily dropped inside? This is where we have to condition monitor it. Why we are telling this is because we have to monitor, and each and every point. Bureau of Energy Efficiency says only one point. Any motor above 10 HP, it needs to have a KWH meter to monitor first, then to reduce the reduction. Then the power transmission in the motors and pulleys, there also around 5 to 10% is happening. This pneumafill air to blow from this pneumafill air on these spinning frames, end to end Pascal, heavy drops are there. This can be improved upon. See, unless the system is healthy, you cannot achieve energy savings in the system. That also has to be seen. But many of the mills, if we concentrate on the Pascal monitoring, especially on their variable torque loads, all the blowers or fans, definitely the mills can achieve a better energy savings and condition monitored energy savings. The compressed air also, we are giving a cool dry air in stages from the compressor to the machine. This is also important. Everything is the input energy reduction or optimization. This will give a lot of energy saving at a lowest cost to the mill. The overheads, the return on investment will be very less if you are able to trim the inputs to the existing machines. Next, please. Always we have, say, thanks to Loyal, our group has always purchased the branded equipments. Some areas in the textile mills, the wrong installations, which are getting silently ignored now. If we see the wrong installations, if we start correcting it from the day one, over 10 years, the losses could have been, instead of accumulating the energy losses, we can definitely reduce the losses. Transformers and electrical distribution, categorize the linear and non-linear loads, and then accordingly reduce the harmonics at the, see, normally we say house arresting the harmonics is the best way of arresting the harmonics, because today or tomorrow, EB is already in doldrums. They are definitely going to have this harmonic fatality. It will come in a month, maybe in a month. So let us try to equip ourselves not to have harmonic penalty, to avoid the harmonic penalty or to prevent the harmonic penalty within our mills. The end-to-end energy losses, if it is monitored on the, not only on the compressed air, blower, on the waste collection and all the water circulation also. These are all the areas. Humidification plant means generation and distribution. What is the generation and what is the distribution? Compressed air, what is the generation, distribution, usage and leakage? This leakage is taking a bigger toll in the compressed air generation. Fans and blowers also, generation, distribution and usage. What is generated, whether the generation is optimum or the distribution is optimum. The Pascal drop end to end, some of the mills are keeping less than 500 Pascals. How much are we keeping? Around 1000 or 1500 Pascals. This is the area where we are losing more usage. Next, please. The low hanging fruits, coming to the energy saving practices in textile mills. Let us say It is a textile mill, basically we say it's an air operated industry. The air is used as a medium of transport and water is added to facilitate the yarn process, to improve the kg or to have the yarn, manufacturing done smoothly. So replacing or optimizing the fan impellers on the variable torque loads like centrifugal pneumatic impellers, axial flow fans and base collection, this gives straight away 10% energy savings. Study this on a trial basis before and after, and then do it and we have seen during our energy audits for the past 5 years, this is happening practically. Then automation by a closed loop on this ring frame pneumafills, I think we have already done it. Just confirm we are achieving the energy savings. At the same time, we have optimized the Pascal towards the textile parameters or monitored towards the textile parameters for the given ring frame. AC plant to the user premises, the transmission distribution losses, this can be reduced by going for attic ventilation. Attic ventilation is an area where many of the mills are concentrating now, because it is almost hotter and hotter is the 10 months of the year now. So if you are able to reduce the attic load, the heat on the attic system, attic area premises, that also is reducing the load on the AC plant, and it is also improving the temperature and RH within the premises. The online monitoring of the production and the utility systems, it definitely gives variable energy savings by condition monitoring and relative condition monitoring on each and every machines now. Next please. Next comes the belts and pulleys replacement. We have done in many of the waste collection systems in all the, even on the ring frames also. This achieves 5% energy savings, where we are not monitoring the revolutions per minute, RPM. If we are able to monitor the RPM loss that is happening from the motor and the machine, this is also an area where we can look into it and we can have the energy losses can be reduced or curtailed. And the AC plants, all the ring frames, now thanks to our already we have scheduled this IE3 motors replacement. It's an excellent proportion you have taken now. It is the right time you have taken this activity, scheduling the replacing the motors. And you see to it that the motors which are replaced, it gives a higher RPM, that you see to it whether you can increase the productivity also by having this higher RPM motors within this IE3 cadre as such. Humidification plant throughout the textile industry, it is designed for peak summer conditions. So automation of pumps and fans and the control systems, it is an automatic control systems to achieve the temperature and RH within the premises. This automation pays very well, especially in the other parts seasons of the year. Peak summer, it takes the full load, but in the other parts of the year, it is definitely energy saving for the mill asset. So the energy efficient axial flow fans also, that also improves around 10 to 15%. See to it that the static pressure and the CFM is improved before and after, and we achieve the energy savings. We have come across with lot of multi-stage monoblock pumps replacing the single monoblock pump or the open well submersible pump, that gives straight away 20% energy savings. See, the energy savings that has been achieved by many of the mills on the subsystem, it is around 10 to 20%. Then why not you project it, or why not you extrapolate it to the total mill to achieve almost 20,000 units per day on this 3 lakh units per day consumption of our mills. Next please. RPM, as I said, these are all, in fact some of the mills we have come across, they are using the stroboscope to see, they don't need to stop the machine to measure the RPM. They just take this one on the spindle or on the motor or on the pulley or anywhere, they just measure the RPM. Wherever is the RPM loss at this, we are thinking around 20,700 RPM as the spindle speed, but what is it really and just how much we are achieved? Just confirm what is the cup to lip losses. The losses between the cup and the lip, it is there in the textile mills, that you address to it now. Next please. Pascal monitoring, as I said, compressed air, digitize all your energy monitoring systems. See, the era is changing now. IoT has taken a big way in all the engineering industries where we have done the energy audits. If you find many of your autocontrol machines, QPro or other things, even the input, the pressure monitoring, they are putting a digital pressure gauge now. So for the mill, total mill, let us digitize the energy, especially the compressed air recordings. You can see on the one of the mills, group mills, they have done this Pascal monitoring digitized, and they have put it in a public address system, so that public display system, so that each and everyone is aware how much we are giving at the header and how much it is given around 600 Pascal at the machine at the carding waste collection means it is done. So these are all the areas. Digitizing your parameters, the utility parameters, it definitely helps you to prompt where the deviation is happening and how to correct that as such. Next, please. In fact, this slide, it is only a duplicate, I should say, because already our loyal mills have done an excellent job. In fact, I was thrilled to see the first few slides of our VP, Mr. Ramakrishnan. Rainwater harvesting and tree planting is done in an immense way in our loyal mills, but it can be still improved upon. See, why I am telling is, compared to all the other industries, textile mills only have the huge land area and invest in planting in trees and forest. It definitely gives strength to the mills, strength to all the surrounding areas of our mill also improves on this. So this rainwater harvesting, it is a taken up project by you and you are doing in an excellent way as such. Next, please. The air conditioning plant, if you are able to cover the trees in your air conditioning plant and use the smart bricks where you can have a water spray as towards the supply air towards the AC plant, so that you have to reduce this temperature to the ambient wet bulb temperature and improve upon the temperature and RH, so that the mist or it reaches the yarn in moisture reaches the yarn in stages from preparatory to spinning to autoconer side. Next, please. As I said, the attic ventilation, these are all the areas. See, what all the energy savings is possible, say 20,000 units per day is our target, but we can have the indirect comforting the mill. Especially this has been done. In fact, we have done many audits in Chennai where we have suggested and they have installed on all their attics, so that they see it is giving an immense lift to the workers in the harsh ambient industry. At the same time, it just consumes only 1 kilowatt but gives lakhs of CFM, and it drives away the heat on the attic, and automatically the heat load on the premises due to the solar radiation, it is reduced to certain extent as such. Next, please. So energy conservation measures we do in the mill, and Bureau of Energy always says do it once in 3 years, not only by a single auditor. You go to different auditors, do the audits. First you do the energy audits within your mill. You have a energy audit team or a energy monitor team, prioritize this, and you have a dedicated team towards this energy conservation. Definitely our mill can achieve in an excellent way. This 20,000 units is not a big thing for us. We can definitely achieve this. And it is not only the energy auditors we are coming from outside, because we are seeing so many hundreds of mills, what all the positives that has been happening in the mills, we are trying to share to you. And definitely let us not do the guess estimate. The UKG what you are getting is excellent. That is not the way. UKG also is there, but also we have to see that on the production side, but on the utility side, the specific energy consumption for the compressor, for the blowers, for the fans, and for the pumps, let us achieve it as per the SCSC, as per the norms given by the BEE. Next, please. The solar generation can be done by the management. Let us say the mill does a 4 megawatt solar, it is done in a premises, means almost 20,000 units generation by the management. But the 20,000 units can be reduced or retrieved only by the shop floor employees, the workers, all the people in the field, people in the mill, they can only achieve it. So encourage the energy conservation to be done by your employees, and automatically that will admire their work results in achieving this energy conservation, and give them incentives and believe in the responsibilities, rewarding them. All these inputs will bring in, it is like instead of going in second gear, let us go to third gear and fourth gear and achieve this energy savings in the shortest period time as such. Next, please. So energy conservation practices is centered on all the other activities. We can see the energy conservation plans. This only decides upon the cost competitiveness, operating profit margin, better OPM, then the cleaner environment. In fact, the sustainable energy, the practices also is a part of this energy conservation plan. And it is also improving the market competitiveness and the company's annual targets. So this energy audit, internal and external, it also paves a way towards process optimization as well, and the technology improvements. Next, please. Thanks for giving this opportunity. I am again giving a sincere thanks to the loyal management, because what all we learned from the energy audits, I have just shared in these case studies in these books on the general industry for all the engineering industries and for the textile mills. And definitely many of the textile mills are making use of the case studies and they are trying to implement it in their mills, and we are able to achieve the energy savings. Thanks for giving this opportunity. But let us have the target of 20,000 units per day in our loyal textiles to achieve a sustainable practices, as well as the targeting this revenue, there is energy reduction as such. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for giving us a very good insight on saving the energy. And we request you to stay for the end of the program for QA sessions. And I request all the participants to post their questions in QA box.
Good morning, respected Chairman, our ED, Mr. Vaidyanathan sir, CEO, CTO sir, my dear colleagues. So next few seconds or few minutes, we are going to go through how the role of individuals in reducing the greenhouse gases. Because if you track the history, in the beginning of this subject, the experts thought that it is the responsibility of the state to take care of the GHG reduction. But over a period of time, they understood that it is the responsibility of the corporate as well as the individuals. In this presentation, I would like to focus on the individuals. So just to make you to understand the greenhouse gases, it involves carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbon, and fluorocarbon, sulfur hexafluoride, nitrogen trifluoride. These are all the gases, and there are two more gases added up in the list after this Paris Convention. And of course, that has very little significance in the tropical countries. Right. See, what is exactly our CEO sir was talking about in the global warming? These gases go and block the penetration of sun rays to the earth. That makes a thicker layer and reflects and create a heat around the earth. So this we call it as a global warming. The climate change and global warming are not same, because the climate change in the global warming is one of the aspects of the climate change. Next. So some others they refer as greenhouse effect. Although this is a natural phenomena, but that keeps the planet habitable, but the greenhouse gases emissions causing Earth to warm up at an unnatural rate, as explained by our CEO in the beginning of the session. If you look at the global greenhouse gas emission, the major contribution comes in the form of carbon dioxide and 65%, and 11% comes through the forestry and other land usage. So if you take almost 3/4 of it is a carbon dioxide, and the maximum percentage it comes from the fossil fuel and industrial process. Then barring this, the methane is the next highest GHG, which you can see, then nitrous oxide, and fluorogases is contributing only 2%. The climate change generally defined as a significant variation of average weather condition. It is over several decades, it is being measured. Next. If you look at this diagram, there are two different types of gas emissions. As we have seen, the green gas emissions, that is causing most of the warm up of our planet. At the same time, aerosols like sulfur dioxide, organic carbon, ammonia, and barring black carbon, the land usage changes contribute for bringing down the warming up of our planet. Next. This is a startling finding which our previous speakers also shared with. If you consider 2011 to 21 average versus 56 to 76 baseline, you find how we are proceeding with, how we are moving towards. Now we are around at 7.2 Fahrenheit and we are moving towards further. Next. See, as explained in the Hindu's article today, that says that even the research scholars acknowledge that 97% of them that the climate change is due to human activity. Most of the prominent scientific organizations across the globe have also issued the statements that publicly endorse this view. Here, in this presentation, we will be focusing on human activity creating the GH inventory. First, let us take our food and food habits. See, the food and food habits, as we measure the GHG inventory for industry. Similarly, if you measure the manufacturing of these foods from the agriculture sector, how it contributes, which is presented in this pie diagram. If you take the 56% of the carbon emission comes from the meats, especially red meat, then the rest is dairy. The dairy products contributes for 18.3%. If you put together, this itself is contributing for 3/4 of the carbon emission from our plate. If you go by other items, including the vegetables and fruits, etc., rising of these do not contribute much. Next. What is on our plate? If you look at the 26% of the GHG emissions from how food is grown, 58% coming from animal products that we have seen in the previous slides. If you want to have 1 kg of chocolate get consumed, it produces a 19 kg of greenhouse gas before coming to our table. Similarly, 1 kg of rice generates 4 kg of greenhouse gas. Per ton of wheat generates 200 kg of carbon dioxide. Locally grown fruits and vegetables have the lowest carbon footprint. It is even less than, I would say, in decimals, 1.5, 1.2. So it is very negligible. So the remedy is change of consumer habits or sustainable farming, agroforestry. So these are the two options coming forth from the specialist when you really want to control at the individual level. Next. The next important aspect, we have to look at the food waste. Across the globe, we find the 1/3 of the food produced globally never makes it to the table. At the same time, whatever the food loss and waste, that accounts for 8.2% of the total human-made greenhouse gas emissions. So the food consumption alone is not contributory cause for the greenhouse gas, but also the wastage what we make. So some of this wasted food in transit, while consumer throw some of this food out. Next. Then what is the remedy? Probably I'm not asking every one of you to change over to the veg-based food habits. It's very difficult. There are countries in Europe, they are restricting and propagating the concept like meatless Monday. Like that, there are slogans that are being in circulation in most of the European countries. 1/4 of carbon footprint, as we have seen, roughly around 26% comes from the food. If you reduce the meat and dairy intake, that would definitely reduce the carbon emission, because the moment the demand comes down on this, definitely the production will also go down in line with the consumers' behavior. So eat less meat is a slogan, and also have a right meal plan that would reduce your wastage of food at home. One. This is from me. Next. This is a vegan pyramid which says what we should eat more, what you should eat moderately, and use sparingly. So this pyramid will give us a kind of a clue how to go about and plan our meal. One. Now comes to the second important element is electricity and gas. Electricity and gas used to power and heat our homes or cool our homes, and it contributes a quarter of our greenhouse gas emission. How to go about and do this and nullify it? Change over to 100% renewable electricity. Is it feasible? Days are not very far off. We will be forced to go for that. Then investigate the installing wall and roof insulation wherever it is required, whether it's a cooling or heating, where the insulation is very, very important. That would help us to reduce the energy loss. And turn off appliances, heating and lighting gadgets when it is not in use. They change the light bulbs that also bring down our energy consumption. Turn your water heater to 120 Fahrenheit. This can save up to 550 pounds of carbon emission in a year. Installing low flow shower head to reduce the hot water use can also save 350 pounds of carbon dioxide emission. Taking a shorter shower also helps us. Another interesting point is BLDC fan. We ourselves experimented the ceiling fan we replaced in CTM, and the payback period was 9 months. And this was done with the advice of our ED, Mr. Vaidyanathan sir, and CTO also within no time approved for replacement of wherever possible. We switched over to brushless direct current fan, and that had helped us to reduce the energy consumption. So the next time when we want to replace our fans at home, probably we should think of BLDC fans. Next. And shopping white goods, let us look at the energy stars. The energy stars would help us to choose the right white goods. That would also help us to control our electricity bill. Next. Buy a less stuff which is not required, the items which are not required, and taking a reusable bag or add for laptop instead of desktop. And also the company that are committed for environmentally responsible producing of white goods would also help us to reduce our power consumption at home. Next. And moving on to the next element is a transport. The transport also equally contributes 27% of the total carbon emission in our day-to-day life. Drive less, walk and take public transportation, carpooling, ride share, bike to your destination. These are all some of the alternates that would help us to reduce the carbon emissions. This is not only reduces the carbon emission, but also in congestion of traffic, we try to burn our fuel unnecessarily. That also added up to the boost. Avoid unnecessary braking and acceleration. This is definitely reduces the 40% of fuel consumption if you have a consistent and calm driving. And of course, now hybrid vehicles have come up, and when you go for the next change, it is desirable to go for hybrid vehicle rather than the conventional vehicle. And the studies very clearly indicates the fly non-stop brings lesser carbon emission because the fuel consumption was at peak while takeoff and landing. So this is another suggestions given by the eminent people in the area of the fuel saving and carbon emission in airlines industry. Now we go on to our subject of clothing. When we were in the process of going through the ISO 14064 and 67 certification, there is a startling finding. The cotton which you would like to raise as a crop that emits 64% to 68% carbon. Of course, Mr. Kumar sir made a reference about the water consumption during the process of crop raising. So this really gives, when you want to control the emission of carbon at the agriculture level, the eminent people suggest for agroforestry that would facilitate the process of reducing not only the carbon emission, but also improves the oxygen availability for the environment. Then another important point, we have to go for vintage and recycled clothing. More and more when you move towards that, probably that would also add up to the cost. Then wash your cloth in a cold water, because the cold water cloth reduces the carbon emission. If you take hot or warm water, that can save up to 500 pounds of carbon dioxide each year. Next. Purchase of new products. Any new products before you would like to purchase, it is desirable to repair or reuse whatever available. Or is there any feasibility of hiring and borrowing that item and share the items with neighbors or family members? Because every new product what we venture to purchase, whether you use it or you don't use it, that product consumes a lot of energy and emits a lot of carbon emissions before lands at your home. So the energy and emissions go hand in hand, where the new product purchase decision should also be kept in mind at the individual level. Next. Fun. For a fun, sometimes we go for a long drive. Sometimes we try to use energy, power energy for unnecessary things. So you have to look forward for the alternate new habits like sitting, walking, jogging, and cycling. Consider having fun without buying anything. So that way, the traveling long distance and flying to visit the great places can also be curtailed. That would add up to the cost of reducing the carbon emission. We can really inspire others to think about the CFP, that's a carbon footprint, and its reduction. Finally, we want how to inspire. So we have to become an evangelist and keep talking to our people. And as rightly put by our CEO from the articles of Hindu, that most of the coastal cities will be under the water, and sooner or later, at the rate at which warming up which is taking place. Next. So the summary substance is our globe is on fire. It is each individual's duty to act now. Next. And this is a very interesting changed environment, a home environment you could see. At this juncture, I would like to make a reference to one of the BE auditors, of course, is no more. His home is also certified for environment management and quality management system. And if you look at in this picture, there is a windmill generation, there is a generation from the solar panels, and lesser cars and cycling and greenery, even washing and drying of clothes use the hot sun, and green energy is used in the fuel tank. And finally, if you look at a classification of waste and waste disposal. So this kind of environment we have to create if you want to sustain and save this planet Earth. Next. So our planet is precious. We can only save it by our activity. Next. Thank you.
Now the floor is open for question and answers. The questions have been posted in the chat box. So I would request the speakers to please take up one by one, and we can now start answering questions.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
So there have been a few questions now. Instead of going one by one, so let me summarize and explain. Maybe after my explanation, if anybody is having further doubt, they can raise and we can discuss on that. There were questions about quality. So as I said, the fiber length after extraction from because we are talking about cotton yarn, we are talking about pre-consumer waste. So when we talk about pre-consumer waste, the fibers extracted from the hard waste, yarn hard waste, and fibers extracted from the gray cloths. So the expected length can be about 19 millimeter or 18 millimeter is the level. So when we are trying to spin yarn counts like 30s, 34s, 19 millimeter is too short. So that is why, basically why Textile Exchange has come out with the guidelines such as it should be carded. If you do the combing, this 18, 19 millimeter will go as a comber waste. So final content of recycled material in the final yarn will be very minimum. So that is why they have mandated that it should be carded only. So they wanted the recycled fiber to be present in the yarn and to be present in the garment. So the processing that the short fiber is going to be difficult. So initially, we know, because based on the fiber length, we know how to process it. As far as we are concerned, so we have adopted draft frame blending. So we are not doing in the comb, we are not doing blow room, because the normal fiber where counts like 30, 34, we will be using a 30 millimeter fiber for normal quantity of 70%. And the remaining 30% will be recycled. So the recycled material will have about 19 millimeters. So we process separately of recycled material, and 70% cotton is processed separately, and we do blending at the final draft rate. So with that, now we will overcome the problems in spinning while processing the mixed material of normal fiber of 30 millimeter and 19 millimeter. But as far as when it comes to yarn, so it is going to have certain percentage. Okay, maximum is 30%. Today, popular is 20%. The popular blend is about 20%, 22%, something like that. So when it having 22% or 30% recycled fiber content in the yarn, your quality is not going to be the same. So it is going to be different. As I said during the presentation, quality will be inferior, but it will be acceptable. This is what now the industry is looking for. If you look at today, because the current topic is now cotton price, raw cotton price is very high, and nobody wants to pay the yarn price. Even with the yarn price is not matching with the cotton price now, the spinning mills are losing money. So one concept which is becoming popular, which has been popular in other parts of the world, that now if in case of knitting, so they instead of promoting combed yarn, they do carded yarn, and carded yarn, the carded knitted fabric is gassed at the fabric stage. So the cost incurred for gassing at fabric stage is very minimum instead of paying for combed yarns. So this is the similar thing can be adapted for recycled fabrics. So when the yarn quality is inferior with the recycled fiber content, so the fabric can be gassed so that now the final fabric is. If you look at a consumer point of view, because if somebody is putting a display, hanging a T-shirt in the retail in a branded showroom, he will buy because now, as I said, the young generation is conscious about the environment. They want to promote because whatever it can be done for the future generation. So they would like to promote, encourage, and buy recycled products. But at the same time, he pays money for it because he wants a decent quality. So without a basic quality, no consumer is going to buy. So when I was addressing post-consumer and pre-consumer, the biggest advantage of pre-consumer is that at least now you can make people acceptable regarding quality of the garments. So quality is going to be inferior, whether it is U percentage, whether it's imperfection, whether it's a hairiness, it is going to be inferior. And now we are, because I'm doing comparison of inferior than a carded yarn, so not a combed yarn. So this is what we are. And while processing, as I said, now we are promoting a draft and blended yarn. So the process becomes comparatively easier. It's not going to be easy like normal cotton fiber. It's comparatively easier. And we may have to compromise on cutting speeds where because processing small speed, the shorter length fiber. At the same time, that will have more number of nibs. So we may have to compromise on the cut speeds. And in terms of realization, yes, we may have to compromise 1 or 2% realization in the whole process of recycling material, not for the normal material. So in terms of productivity also, so as of now, because we are targeting 3% lesser productivity than normal yarn. But in that front, I'm very hopeful that in the days to come, very shortly, sooner, so we will be able to match the infant productivity as a whole. So these are the whole thing, the chat box, whatever I read. So I have consolidated and explained. And if anybody is having further doubts, so they can raise and we can discuss further. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So just one more point. In your slide, you referred that textile industry is right now recycling 14.7%. So, I mean, is it a total textile value chain, or it is just a fiber recycling, or the product that is being produced that is getting recycled this much percent?
It's a total. It's a total. Now it includes textiles and apparels globally. It is not the fiber alone.
So, okay. So, what I understand is brands are collecting the clothes back and they are giving it for recycling. Is it like that, sir?
No, brands are not doing that activity. So we may have to, as a spinner, we may have to take the initiative. So we have been because constantly supplying huge quantities to major global brands like PVH and H&M. So almost all the brands are venturing into this one. So as I was explaining during the presentation now, European Union has mandated its brands to come to a minimum 20%. of 20% of their product line under recycled recycling program. So by 2025, it will be forced. Because now they are moving towards, because from 2025 it has to be complete. So each and every brand who are based in Europe are very serious about promoting these recycled products.
Yes.
Kumar sir, good morning, Ramakrishnan.
Okay.
Sir, when we are doing this draft frame blending, 100% recycled fiber மட்டும் செப்பரேட்டா ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணுவோமா, அதுல கொஞ்சம் நார்மல் காட்டனும் மிக்ஸ் பண்ணி கொண்டு வருவீங்க. ஏன்னா 100% recycled மட்டும் ஓடும்போது அது ஃபிளாட்லி வேஸ்டா போக வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு இல்லையா?
இல்ல இப்ப நம்ம ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்போ ஓபனன்ஸ் பண்ணி ஓட்டுறோம்னு வச்சுங்களேன். உங்க ஓபனன்ஸ் பண்ணி ஓட்டும்போது கோம்பர் நாயில் மட்டும் நீங்க தனியா ப்ளோரும் கடிட்டு எடுக்கிறீங்க. ஸோ அது பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 19 எக்ஸாக்ட்லி கோம்பர் நாயில் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 19 மில்லிமீட்டர் இன்னைக்கு இருக்கு. ஸோ 19 மில்லிமீட்டர் ஃபைபரை ப்ளோரும் கார்டிங்ல எப்படி ஓட்டுறோமோ அதே மாதிரி நம்ம ரீசைக்கிள் ஃபைபரை ஓட்டிக்கலாம்.
ஓகே சார், ஓகே. Thanks.
But actually, initially it is going to be a difficult job because it is not as easy as the other fiber. But now it will be difficult. Yeah.
You are purchasing a recycled fiber, or your hardware you are opening, sir?
Yeah, actually, we have installed the recycling machines for recycling at our end, but we use that machine mostly for development purpose. Because we may not be able to generate so much volume for our production, like closely 25,000 spindles now we are running. So it will be difficult for us to generate the fibers, which we may think in future. But as of now, our installed machine is only for development purpose, but we buy fiber. And today, fiber is plenty available. If you go to Gujarat, there are people who can supply plenty of quantity of recycled fibers.
Our fear is when we are purchasing this fiber, whether it is sure that only 100% cotton is there, because some polyester mix-up may also there in like that. Some fear is there. Whether we are easy to get without any contamination.
Actually, sourcing is going to be a very difficult job in the beginning, because now we have to trust the supplier. Now we have to identify trusted sources. See, now நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி அதாவது அந்த பாலியஸ்டர் மிக்ஸ்அப்ங்கிறத தாண்டி வேற அதர் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் now ultimately the yarn is going for dyeing and processing. Because நீங்க வாங்குற சோர்ஸ் அது ஷங்கர் 6ல இருந்து வருதா, அது தெலுங்கானா காட்டன்ல இருந்து வருதா, MC5 இருந்து வருதான்னு தெரியாது, ஹார்ட் வேஸ்ட் அந்த ஃபேப்ரிக் வேஸ்ட். ஸோ இப்போ அதை மிக்ஸ் பண்ணும்போது அதுலேயும் வந்து உங்களுக்கு வந்து டையிங் அப்புறம் பட்டா பிரச்சனைகள் வர்றதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஸோ த சோர்சிங் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி வெரி வெரி கிரிட்டிக்கல் ஃபார் ப்ரொமோட்டிங் திஸ் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ்.
தேங்க்யூ சார், தேங்க்யூ சார்.
குமார் சார் வணக்கம் சார். நான் ராஜேஷ் பேசுறேங்க, பிசினஸ் டெவலப்மெண்ட்ஸ். எனக்கு கமர்ஷியல் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூல இந்த ரீசைக்கிள்டு ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் ப்ரமோட் பண்ணும்போது ப்ரைஸ் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் எப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்ண முடியும் சார்? பிகாஸ் ஜென்ரலா வர்ஜின் பிளெண்ட்ஸ் வந்துட்டு ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டி இஸ் வெரி ஹியூஜ். ஸோ இன் டேர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டி, இன் டேர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் கண்டினியூஸ் ப்ரொடக்ஷன்ஸ் ப்ரைசஸ் வி ஆர் ஃபிக்ஸிங் ஆன் தட். But when it comes to recycled, it may not be more than even 5% of virgin. So how we are able to manage price factors in the markets?
As of now, no, because we are putting upcharge for recycled fibers, recycled yarns. Because now, as I said, now we are losing realization, we are losing productivity, and now because we are also paying extra cost for recycled material. So as such, now guess it is slightly more, but now okay, now today it is more because of the demand also, because now demand is very good, so brands want to promote, so that they are paying today. As far as spinning is concerned, in terms of productivity, as I said, now today we are losing 3% in ring frame, but I am very hopeful that sooner we will come to a normalcy. So in terms of spinning, the productivity loss is going to be very, very minimum, except the realization loss. But the 30% raw material is going to be much cheaper for you.
So how much would be the price comparison in case if we compare with 100% cotton versus 30% recycled cotton? I'm just asking for normal comparison, sir. How much it would be?
Today, Assam today, if somebody buys 30s cotton normal yarn, and if somebody wants to buy 30s cotton recycled yarn with 30% content, it's roughly about 15 to 20 rupees per kg more. Okay, but that is the today's case. Now, but if you see the raw material, that is now recycled fiber, if you source, the cost of raw material is about 10 to 15 rupees per kg more than the comb and oil today in the market.
Okay.
So for a spinner, it is more beneficial as of now. But the days to come, when more people venture into recycled yarn production, so the premium may come down.
Noted. Thank you. Thank you.
Shall I answer, sir? I have 3 queries.
Yes.
Yeah. The first, this one is putting this attic ventilation fan. In fact, it just consumes 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatt only, but it gives almost around a lakh of CFM because static Pascal is less. It is only just to have a air movement in the attic instead of a closed attic. It will be have a air movement. We will have a N-type ventilators at the NT end, while the air movement will be there. This will facilitate the air movement to go so that the heat is not getting ingressed into the fall ceiling inside, because already the AC ducts, it has to be totally insulated. Apart from the insulation, still the heat is coming from the solar. 50% of the solar load is entering through the top only. Thanks to the solar roof PV, at least we are able to have the photovoltaic modules. But still, this attic ventilation fans, it just consumes only 1 to 2 kilowatt with the very least static, and you will have an air movement. It will not be an air blast, it will have an air movement. Next query is applying the VFD on supply and exhaust fans. See, you can see the difference of temperature and RH in the daytime and nighttime in the summer, peak summer, and in the other parts of the year. See, a VFD is very much beneficial to the textile mill only during the other parts of the year, and the peak summer already we are running the textile that is the AC plant almost near to the full capacity. There we may not have the savings. See, we are trying to optimize the air changes, giving a better RH at the different stages of yarn, and achieving the same flow and the air changes in the spinning means 32 to 38 hour. See, these are all the air changes we are trying to achieve based on the temperature of the ambient inside and outside. So in many of the textile mills, they have achieved this VFD based air conditioning because we have designed our humidification plant for almost 100%, especially for the peak summer. So if it is on the other parts of the year, the VFD will give you a better savings. On the peak summer, it will be less savings. Then is the question of only 2% on the compressed air consumption on a spinning mill. The region is 2 to 6%, and many of the group mills are achieving between 2 to 3%. This is purely by complete condition monitoring of air, compressed air, and they are able to achieve almost 140 to 150 watts per CFM at the generation. The distribution is around 0.3 bar only from end to end, and on the leakage they are trying to bring it down. This is purely on the spinning side, where we are telling 2 to 6%, but many of the industries, many of the textile mills, group mills are achieving between 2 to 2.5 or 2 to 3%. It is like similar to our humidification plant also. We can talk about 8%, some of the mills are achieving, around 15% some of the mills are achieving. See, in textile mill only, as I said to start with, it's an air operated industry. The ambient air surrounding the textile mill, that is going to decide the mill operating profit margins. That is why also, in fact, I have suggested through case studies in my books, going for a smart break where you give the adiabatic cooling. It is not the pure adiabatic cooling. At the supply air, you can have this one and try to bring down the temperature to the ambient wet bulb temperature. That will be very much useful to have a cool dry air. Ultimately, we want to achieve almost 95% to 98% at the mist eliminator, and the mist eliminator also. Mist eliminator is the name where it is given the mist is eliminated in the chamber and you are getting only the heat transfer, and the cool dry air is supposed to reach to the fibers or to the departments. This is where we are concentrating. Try to concentrate on transmission and distribution losses, and we can achieve more. Thanks for this one, and any further queries I am ready to answer. Thank you.
Ashok sir, Ramakrishnan.
Yes sir.
Sir, the humidification power the total power level percentage is normal.
That's what sir I was telling you now. Around 8 to 15. Some of the mills are achieving around 8 to 9%. Okay. Some of the mills are achieving around 15%. This is not over the year. If you average it per day, per month, and over the year, compared to this year and last year, you can just compare it, and you can say it is around 8%. Because we have gone for a lot of changes in the humidification plant, especially on the pumping side. See, the fan and pump, it is a combination effect of RH and temperature to maintain. Fan is trying to maintain the air circulation inside the premises. The pumping is trying to maintain the water, that is the almost less micron, 10 microns of this one particles is just spreading in the air, that crosses to the mist eliminator, and there the heat transfer happens, and you try to see the cool dry air is reaching the premises inside in the spinning department or in the post cooler department. Sir, so it is around 8 to 15%. Sir,
you said spinning mill.
Yes.
For weaving mill normal sir.
I can give you the details again. This is based spinning mill. It is we go by the Citra norms, and this one we are giving this, and for each and every this one we study this one for this type of this one consumption, how much of percentage we can definitely work out and give you, sir.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Thank you sir.
Sir, Paramahansan sir.
Yes sir.
Humidification plant efficient run அப்படிங்கிறது ஆஃப்டர் எலிமினேஷனுக்கு அப்புறம் ஆர்ஹெச்சோட பர்சன்டேஜ் புது பிளான் லெவலில் இருக்கும். ஒரு 5 இயர்ஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் அதை என்ன பர்சன்டேஜ்ல மெயின்டைன் ஆகுது இண்டஸ்ட்ரி?
After 5 years, it gets derated to 80 to 85%. In the new plants, around 90 to 95% it is maintained. But it is again depending on நம்மளோட வாட்டரோட கண்டிஷன் நல்லா இருக்கா. ஒன்று டிஎம் வாட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோமா, இதுக்காக ஆர்ஓ வாட்டர்னு போல, பட் டிஎம் வாட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணுறோமா, ஓரளவு அந்த வாட்டரோட கண்டிஷன் நல்லா இருக்கா. அடுத்து அந்த ஸ்ப்ரே டுவெல் டைம்னு சொல்கிறது அந்த பம்போட இது நாசல்ஸ் இல்லை, ஒரு சிம்பிளான இது சார். இன்ஃபேக்ட் இன் அவர் எனர்ஜி ஆடிட் ரிப்போர்ட் வி ஹவ் சஜஸ்டட் இன் அவர் மில் ஆல்சோ ட்ரை டு ஹேவ் எ ரிங் மைன் ஆஃப் பம்ப் சர்க்கியூட். இன்ஃபேக்ட் எல்லாமே ரேடியல் மைனில் வெர்டிக்கல் ரைசர் பைப்பெல்லாம் 4 பைப் 8 பைப் அப்படியே இதில் உத்தரத்தில் நின்றுட்டுருக்கோம். அது எல்லாமே ஜஸ்ட் டீ கனெக்ஷன் போட்டு யூ ட்ரை டு ஹேவ் எ ரிங் மைன் சர்க்குலேஷன், ட்ரை டு ரெடியூஸ் தி பம்பிங் ப்ரெஷர். ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி தி பம்போட அந்த வாட்டர் பார்ட்டிகல்ஸ் இன் தி ஏர் வில் பி எக்ஸலண்ட். அது நிற்கும் போது தான் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக மிஸ்ட் எலிமினேட்டரில் உங்களுக்கு 90 to 95% வந்து நம்மளால் அச்சீவ் பண்ண முடியும். இது வந்து டீரேட்டிங் வந்து எதனால் அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது இட் இஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி டு தி மிஸ்ட் எலிமினேட்டர் அந்த நம்ம க்ளீனிங் அது இதெல்லாம் விட்டுருங்க, பட் பம்பில் வந்து நம்ம மெயின்டைன் பண்ண முடியுமான்னு பார்க்கலாம். அது நம்ம வந்து we can do it by giving a lesser pressure in the pump, but each and every nozzle at say 13 LPM னு சொல்லலாம் ஒவ்வொரு nozzle. See, each and every nozzle is giving the rated flow and pressure. இதுக்கு ஒரே ஒரு ring main, இது it is only a T connection of all the vertical risers and maintain the pumping pressure. அதை நீங்கள் pumping pressure impulse line வெளியே கொண்டு வந்து வச்சுட்டு பார்த்தா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக we can maintain a pumping pressure less so that the air particle, the water in air is excellent and mist eliminator ஓட efficiency நல்லா இருக்கும் சார்.
So I think if anyone else is having any questions, we can have, or we can move.
சார் வணக்கம், முருகனை பேசுறேங்க சார். அசோக் சார்.
வணக்கம் சார், சொல்லுங்க சார்.
சார் இப்போ நம்ம கோடிஃபிகேஷன் பிளான்ட்ல பம்புக்கு பதில் அந்த ஏர் வாஷர்ல வந்து ஹுமி பாக் அந்த மாதிரி போட்டோம்னா பம்போட பவரை வந்து ரொம்ப கம்மி பண்ண முடியுங்களா சார்? சிஸ்டம் வந்து
அதாவது மிஸ்ட் கூலிங் வந்து ஹியூமிடிஃபிகேஷன் பிளான்ட்ல போடுற மாதிரி அதுதானே சார் கேட்குறீங்க?
ஆமாம் சார், ஆமாம் சார்.
ஓகே, அதாவது இந்த தி எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் கான்செப்ட் கன்வென்ஷனல் சிஸ்டம் வந்து அதாவது நமக்கு வந்து வாட்டர் பார்ட்டிகல்ஸை வந்து மில்லுக்குள்ளே கேரி ஓவர் பண்ணுற ஐடியாவே நமக்கு இல்லை சார். நமக்கு ஹீட் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் வந்து இந்த மிஸ்ட் எலிமினேட்டரில் நடக்கணும். அதுக்கு வந்து இந்த எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் பம்ப்ஸில் வித் லெஷர் ப்ரெஷர் வந்து நமக்கு வந்து அந்த லெஸ் தென் 10 மைக்ரான்குள்ளே அந்த வாட்டர் பார்ட்டிகல்ஸோட சைஸ் இருக்குது, அதில் அச்சீவ் பண்ண முடியுது சார். இது வந்து இந்த மிஸ்ட் கூலிங் அந்த மாதிரி வந்து இங்கே பிளான்ட்டில் முதல்ல வந்து மில்லுக்குள்ளே போட்டாங்க. நிறைய பேர் வந்து போட்டுட்டு அப்புறம் வந்து எல்லா எக்யூப்மெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கரோடான பிறகு எல்லாத்தையும் ரிமூவ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா இந்த நம்மளோட ஹியூமிடிஃபிகேஷன் பிளான்ட்டை இட் இஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி தி வாட்டர் கேரி ஓவர் டு தி இது ப்ராடக்ட் அண்ட் யான் பட் டு தி எக்யூப்மெண்ட்ஸ் அது வரக்கூடாதுங்கிறதுனால தான் வந்து அடுத்து இப்போ வந்து இதில் ட்ரை பண்ணுறாங்க. பட் கன்வென்ஷனல் சிஸ்டம்ஸே நல்லாவே ஒர்க் அவுட். இதில் வந்து எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் பம்ப்ஸ் வந்து ஒரு ஒரு 7.5 கிலோவாட் பம்புக்கு பதில் வந்து ஒரு ஓப்பன் வெல் சப்மர்சிபிள் பம்ப் ஆல்மோஸ்ட் ஒரு 5.5 கிலோவாட் இட் டஸ் தி பெட்டர் ஜாப் and better mist eliminator ஆரச்ச வந்து அருமையா மெயின்டைன் பண்ண முடியுது சார். Thank you sir.
Okay, thank you sir.
Regarding the fog, no, because we have our experience, so most of our units are running with the fog only today, and it is nothing wrong, but as you were saying, conventional system also works well if it is maintained properly. Exactly. And for fog, because you need to have a excellent quality of water to avoid this clogging of nozzles. And fog is not easy to maintain, but if it is maintained, you can have some portion of energy can be saved. This is what our experience.
Right sir, right sir.
மில்போக்கை பொறுத்தளவு எல்லா இடத்துக்கும் அப்ளிகபிள் ஆகாது. ஸ்பின்னிங் அண்ட் கோம்பர் ப்ராசஸ்ல பண்ணும்போது நம்ம பிட் பல்ப் அண்ட் ட்ரை பல்ப் ஆனது வந்து வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். பட் வேற வந்து பைண்டிங் அந்த மாதிரி அப்ளிகேஷனுக்கு மில்போக்கு இஸ் ஓகே. பட் ஆல்ரெடி குமார் சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி மெயின்டைன் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா அதில் சேவிங்ஸ்.
As you said, ultimately நம்மளோட மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் கண்டிஷன் பேஸ்டு மானிட்டரிங் அண்ட் மெயின்டெனன்ஸில் தான் சார் இருக்குது. ஏன்னா ஏரில் கூட வந்து மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் கம்மி, பட் வாட்டர் அண்ட் ஏர்னு வரும்போது அதில் மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் கூட. எப்போ வெட்டட் பார்ட்ஸ் அதிகம் இருக்கோ அதில் வந்து மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் வேர் அண்ட் ஏர் கூட, சோக் அது மாதிரி நிறைய வரதுக்கு சான்சஸ் இருக்குது. ப்ரெஷர் ட்ராப், ப்ரெஷர் டிஃபரன்ஷியல் வரதுக்கு சான்சஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் நமக்கு சிஸ்டமில் மில்லில் நல்லா இருந்துச்சுன்னா we can definitely achieve the same 8% or 8 to 9% of humidification component percentage over the total mill power production, sir. Power consumption.
As far as we are concerned now, see a normal humidification plant where you are supposed to increase the moisture from the outside air, and now that means you take 100% fresh air from outside and just pump it inside. The fog system works well if it is maintained properly. If it is a varied condition like that, you are going for some recirculation, you want to suppress the moisture from outside, and now again there is a back pressure comes, because now most of the times what we have seen, the infiltration inside the department is the major cause for many problems inside. That means now the design of the supplier, design of the exhaust, so makes a difference. So now because in most of the spinning mills we can say, okay, for in the name of saving power, people manipulate the fan angle, manipulate the speed, everything. Then again now because here he was mentioning about comber and carding, that prepared area where now already you have a suction system inbuilt inside the machines. So you are already doing suction. So you are manipulating the other side. So with this remains same. So then again, suddenly, the air comes from other department, air comes from outside. So that means there is a turbulence of air inside the department. By that time now, the fog, okay, it's not only for fog, because overall humidification system is a problem. So fog as such now, because for normal operating condition is okay. But for the varied condition, unless otherwise we are very sure about scientifically, it will be difficult. That's what our experience.
பரமேசன் சார், உங்கள் இதில் வந்து பாஸ்கல் மானிட்டரிங் காம்பர்லேயே ஆகட்டும், வேஸ்ட் கலெக்ஷன்லேயே ஆகட்டும், அதே மாதிரி வந்து ஹியூமிடிஃபிகேஷன் பிளான்ட்டில் டெய்ல் எண்ட், அட் தி ஃபேன் அண்ட் டெய்ல் எண்ட் பாஸ்கல் மானிட்டரிங் நீங்கள் ஆரம்பித்தா இந்த ஏர் பேலன்ஸுங்கிறது வந்து முக்கியமாக ஹெச்விஏசி செக்மெண்ட்டை சொல்லுவோம். தட் இஸ் அப்ளிகபிள் டு அவர் டெக்ஸ்டைல் மில் ஆல்சோ. இந்த ஏர் பேலன்சிங் ஒரு எண்டில் வந்து ஹாட் பாக்கெட்ஸ், ஒரு எண்டில் கோல்டு பாக்கெட்ஸ் இருந்தால் நம்ம மில்லுக்கு வந்து இட் இஸ் நாட் ஹெல்த்தி. ஸோ இந்த பாஸ்கல் மானிட்டரிங் எஸ்பெஷலி அந்த ஹியூமிடிஃபிகேஷன் பிளான்ட் அண்ட் அந்த வேஸ்ட் கலெக்ஷன் சிஸ்டம், இதெல்லாம் டிஜிட்டல் பாஸ்கல் மீட்டர் காஸ்ட் ஒன்லி 10,000 rupees. இதை நம்ம வந்து மில்லில் யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டா அண்ட் மானிட்டரிங் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சா திஸ் வில் கிவ் அன் எக்ஸலண்ட். உங்களுக்கு வந்து நீங்கள் பண்ணுறதை வந்து கரெக்டாக நீங்கள் அதை பார்த்து நீங்கள் கரெக்ட் பண்ணிக்க ஆரம்பிச்சிடலாம். எதில் பாஸ்கல் அதிகமாக இருக்குது, எதில் பாஸ்கல் கம்மியாக இருக்குது. அண்ட் தி ஃப்ளோ ரேட் இஸ் ஃபிக்ஸட், தி பாஸ்கல் சேஞ்சஸ் இஸ் மோர் ஆர் லெஸ். தட் வில் சே தி ஒய் தெர் இஸ் எ ப்ராப்ளம் தட் இஸ் ஸ்டில் எக்ஸிஸ்டிங். அதை எப்படி கரெக்ட் பண்ணலாங்கிறதையும் பார்த்துடலாம். தேங்க்யூ.
100% your statement is correct, sir. Because I was already worked with such a exercise. Even கோம்பர்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய எல்லா டிராபேக்ஸ், டிடாக்ஷனோட எல்லாத்துக்குமே வந்து டிஜிட்டல் எஸ்எஃப்சியோடைய டிஜிட்டல் மானிட்டர் போட்டுக்கிறோம். அதே மாதிரி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வைண்டிங்குமே வந்து கல்கியோடைய மானிட்டர் சிஸ்டமும் போட்டுக்கிறோம். அப்போ ஆக்சுவல் கன்செப்ட் ஏர் லீக்கேஜஸ் எவ்வளோ இருக்குது, ஆக்சுவல் கன்சப்ஷன் எவ்வளோ இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறத பார்த்து அட்டென்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். அப்பார்ட் ஃப்ரம் த ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் மிஷின்ஸ், அடிஷனல் மிஷின்ஸ்லையுமே வந்து இப்போ டிஜிட்டலைஸ் வந்து பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம், போட்டுட்டு இருக்கோம்.
எக்ஸலண்ட் சார். அதாவது கம்ப்ரஸ்ட் ஏர் சிஸ்டமில் வந்து ஒரே ஒரு பாயிண்ட் தான் சொல்லுவாங்க, இஃப் தி ரெஃப்ரிஜரேட்டர் டையர் இஸ் டூயிங் அன் எக்ஸலண்ட் ஜாப், ஏர்லைனில் வாட்டர் எவ்வளோ வருதோ அவ்வளோ கூடவோ சோக்கு, அவ்வளோ கூடவோ ப்ரெஷர் ட்ராப்பு எல்லாமே வரும் சார். அந்த சிஸ்டம் கம்ப்ரஸர் ஹவுஸ் வந்து ஹெல்த்தியாக இருந்து நம்ம கூல் ட்ரை ஏர் கொடுத்துட்டோம். அதில் வந்து ஆஃப்டர், அதாவது ஒன்று வந்து ரிசீவரில் வந்து லெவல் சென்சிங் ட்ரெயின் வாலில் வாட்டர் எடுத்துட்டோம், அப்புறம் வந்து ட்ரையர்லேயே வந்து நல்லா கூல் பண்ணிவிட்டு அதுலேயே வந்து வாட்டர் எடுத்துட்டோம்னா, லைனில் மாத்திரம் வாட்டர் இல்லை அப்படின்னாக்கா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக இந்த ப்ரெஷர் ட்ராப்ஸு, இந்த ஃப்ளோ இது சேஞ்சஸ், இது எதுவுமே வந்து நம்மளால் வந்து நம்மளோட கண்ட்ரோலுக்கு கொண்டு வந்துடலாம். தேங்க்யூ சார்.
தேங்க்யூ.
Thank you, sir. So now moving on to our program further. So now we'll be concluding it, and I'll be requesting CTO sir, so take it forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for listening carefully and patiently for almost a 2-hour session. It's a very informative session. So I would like to say a few words about what is the way forward for our Loyal Textiles as far as sustainability is concerned. And here I would like to make a special note of Mr. B. Vaidyanathan, our Executive Director's contribution, because he is heading our sustainability initiatives. And in fact, he is conducting weekly meetings with all our staffs. And we have set goals for sustainability initiatives in all our 5 plants, which of course has been detailed by our colleague, Mr. A. Ramakrishnan, VP Works, in a detailed manner. And also individual responsibilities have been listed out by Mr. Dr. MRK, our Senior Vice President, HR. Now let us move on to specifics of what exactly we plan to do as far as, let's say, reduce, reuse, and recycle are concerned. We all know that today is the World Earth Day, and the slogan is Save the Planet Earth, and our topic is sustainable business practices. And the Earth Days, this year's theme is invest in our planet. Whenever we are investing on solar energy or wind energy or any of our sustainable initiatives, in fact, we are actually investing in our planet. This is a very famous and my favorite quotation. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. In fact, we have not. But we have borrowed it from our children. As long as we keep it in our mind, all our actions will be responsible. I would like to start this presentation by wishing a very happy Earth Day 2022 to all of you. And this particular slide also specifies and shows that we have to nurture our earth and hand over to our future generations because we have just borrowed from them. What is the way forward for Loyal Textiles in sustainable business practices? I would like to focus and concentrate only on reuse or recycle. So pre-consumer waste recycling as elaborated by Mr. T. Kumar, and post-consumer waste recycling, then PET bottle recycled polyester and polyester cotton products, then establishment of Center of Excellence for Sustainability in Textile Industry, and best business practices in textile industry. So these are the 5 points we would like to address today. The pre-consumer waste recycling, comber oils are already being used by us in open-end spinning, but it is not recognized by the GRS. Whereas cording flat strips, now we are not using, we are selling it off because of contamination and fear of contamination, more of fear of contamination. So we have a program to clean them and reuse it in our open end. Similarly, blow room, cording and all other soft waste, we are not utilizing in our open end now. We are currently selling this off as soft waste, which is not correct. We should recycle them. So we have initiated in our centralized waste recycling unit to put up machinery to recycle this soft waste and use it in open end without the fear of contamination. The fourth one is the hard waste. We already have a hard waste recycling plant in LTM, and we are opening up all our hard waste collected from the 4 spinning plants and getting it to LTM, and we are opening them, and that open fiber is used in open end and also in coarse counts and ring spun. Chindis and fabric waste, we had an earlier program of waste to wear, where the chindis and fabrics waste generated from, let's say, weaving and processing and also garments were segregated and opened and reused in open end. This we are going to revive now. So this is a very favorite quotation which has been focused in our previous company. It is called we all know swan. Swan is a bird which can sort of separate milk from a mixture of water and milk. So like that, we textile technologists should be able to separate useful fiber, as Mr. T. Kumar put it separately, 18 to 19 millimeter fiber from the waste and reuse them. So this machine should be able to recognize what is usable fiber and which is not usable dust or whatever. And also all the contaminants should be taken out. So such machinery are available now. So we should be able to squeeze the last fiber from waste. In fact, my firm belief is whatever fiber we buy, not even a single fiber, usable fiber should go out as waste or should be sold as soft waste. So in waste recycling, in order to recycle the blow room, cording and all other soft waste which is available and generated in various machinery in textile spinning process should be recycled. So there is a proposal to put up a centralized waste recycling unit at Odaipatti with the Taiwanese machines, because Taiwanese are in the forefront of waste recycling. And hard waste recycling, we already have one hard waste recycling unit in working condition at LTM, and this will be, now we are proposing to shift it to Odaipatti centralized waste recycling unit. And one more machine which is not in working condition will be repaired and recommissioned at the same centralized waste recycling unit at Odaipatti. And chindis and fabric recycling, we have one fabric opening machine at VTM, which is in working condition, which will be shifted to centralized waste recycling unit to Odaipatti. Depending on the demand created for this product by our marketing department, our customers, we propose to have one more machine which can be imported from Taiwan or China. On post-consumer recycled products, currently we are buying PET recycled polyester fiber in natural, white and dyed fibers, and we are using them in ring spinning machines at CTM, Chindamani Textile Mills, to spin solid or melange yarns. However, as of now, we are not selling it as a certified product. It is not GOTS, it's actually GRS. So henceforth, these products will be marketed with distinct brand and GRS certificate to capture value addition. As many people have been asking about the commercial formalities and whether it's commercially viable, yes, we can make it commercially viable by obtaining the GRS that we already obtained. We have to use that certification in our marketing, and we have already in very much advanced stage for all compliances and certifications. So we can use it as a branded value-added product instead of selling as a waste recycled product. In fact, globally, waste recycled products are accepted as a value-added product. Similarly, blended polyester cotton or cotton polyester products also can be offered in the same proposal. Similarly, there is one more proposal which we have come up recently, is that there is regenerated cellulosic fibers which are created from what is called the cotton linter waste. This is being made in China. Unfortunately, no other country is making it. It is yet to be made in India. So we can import this what is called the regenerated cellulosic fibers, which is nothing but the viscose rayon from cotton linters, can be imported, and we can use it in both ring and open end to create what is equivalent to PET bottle recycled products. And there is a good demand. We already got a firm inquiry from one of our customers for home textiles, and we are going to use it for that production. And we have recently ordered IDF card and draw frames for CTM so that we can also use the PET recycled polyester or PC or CP products in open end too. And then same can be marketed with GRS certification as a branded product. And sourcing the post-consumer recycled cotton fibers to be spun at Loyal is a challenge, as Mr. T. Kumar put it very nicely. Of course, in Gujarat, there are hundreds of manufacturers and suppliers of post-consumer recycled cotton fibers, and we have to audit them and list them out so that reliability will be there and we can trust the suppliers so that it is not contaminated. Because our own, if we put up our own plant, then collection of the post-consumer recycled garments, then collection, segregation color-wise, and sanitization is a big challenge. And the opening up of these garments needs a big project investment, and hence it is proposed during the short term and medium term to source these fibers from such manufacturers. In Tamil Nadu also it has recently started. So Tamil Nadu and Gujarat and abroad as well, because from abroad they are branded products and many brands are demanding such branded products with linkages. So that also is one of the proposals we are now exploring. Such products will be used in our spinning, and we can offer woven, knitted fabrics and garments as well, because we are a totally vertically integrated unit from ginning to garments, and so we can offer up to garments. We earlier used to brand it as waste to wear. We will revive this brand with the GRS certification, and as a branded product we can market them. And we are talking about the Center of Excellence in Recycling. This is the dream project of our chairperson. And this we are proposing to establish this Center of Excellence in Recycling at Odaipatti, which will encompass the centralized waste recycling unit as a first phase. And then the scope will be expanded to include complete circular economy campuses. We are really proud to say our chairman had earlier, CMD has already incorporated circular economy campuses in almost all our 5 campuses. So rainwater harvesting and sewage recycling, which is already there in all our 5 plants, which will be incorporated in this Center of Excellence as well. And of course, afforestation also will be done in the same premises. because this is open to public. This is on the right on the national highway between Satur to Koilpatti, nearer to Satur. And so these people can visit and see. And all solids recycling will be done. In fact, here I would like to mention that solid waste from our boilers are being offered. In fact, we being sent to cement plants for recycling. This will also have a visitor center, and where people can come and look at the recycling. So there, let's say somebody mentioned about the quality of recycled products. So that particular mindset should be changed. Recycled products are value-added products. They are not cheaper products. They are more expensive. That is what people have to understand. And people have to understand while buying the recycled products, they are contributing to the economy, contributing to global warming, contributing to sustainability goals. So that is why the visitor center will show them how it is being recycled. So we will have glass partitions and they can see how the garments, let's say rejected garments, are being recycled, and the fiber is taken out, spun, and again woven, knitted, or dyed. The whole thing will be demonstrated in the visitor center. Similarly, a factory outlet where we can showcase all our products and people can buy recycled products from our factory outlet. A museum, there are textile museums in Coimbatore and Ahmedabad. Unfortunately, we don't have a museum in Madurai and let's say southern districts of Tamil Nadu, where textile industry is really doing well. And we should have a textile dedicated museum, that too for sustainability. Here we would not restrain it only for textile sustainability, but the entire sustainability value chain will be exhibited in this museum. There will be restaurant, a green park, windmills, and solar park to make it a complete circular economy campus. And coming to the other part of this business practices at Loyal, our colleagues, the double Ramakrishnans, have already explained in detail of what business practices are being practiced in Loyal at the initiation of our great CMD, Mr. Manikam Ramaswamy. So sewage treatment plants, recycling and reuse are already there in all our plants, and we are revamping them. We are expanding them. And we are very happy to say that our plant at Kadalur, dyeing plant, has been recently recognized as zero hard waste plant, the zero hard waste hazardous plant. We are also supplying the, let's say, recycled water to our processing. So we are reusing the water, and the rejected water is being sent to the Q6, which is a centralized effluent treatment plant for entire SIPCOT, and they are disposing it in the marine. So that is probably it is the only second marine disposal plant in India for textile processing. Then effluent treatment plants and recycling plants are there in all our plants, and we are reusing the water. That's what is more important. We are not disposing that water, we are reusing the water. Then renewable energy, we have wind and solar. And currently, we are increasing this wind and solar capacity. And Dr. MRK was mentioning about whether we can make 100% renewable energy for our usage. As of now, we are already using about 48% of our power that we are using comes from renewable energy of our own wind and solar. And currently, we are putting up about 5 megawatt plant in SCTM, Andhra Pradesh, and another 5 megawatts in CTM. And ultimately, our target is to see that at least 80% of our power consumption will be from wind and solar. In fact, as of now also, the installed capacity is 70%, but actual utilized capacity is 48%, because you know that solar is for the day and the wind is also during the wind season. Then rainwater harvesting is something which we have been doing in each of our campuses. And we have got rainwater storage plants in our storage tanks in all of our 5 campuses. And this water is being reused. And as Mr. Sethuraman pointed out, Mr. Ashok Sethuraman pointed out, this water is very good because this is TDS is very low, and we can use it is almost a soft water. Only thing you can do is you have to filter so that you can have multimedia filters. You can have and we can have some grating so that you can filter the, let's say, larger particles. So these two, once you have, this can be reused. This is, we are already doing it in a few of our plants. Now a larger project is being installed in Loyal Textile Mills so that this rainwater can be reused for various uses like fire hydrant water and also for humidification after a DM plant. Similarly, forestation has been a passion for our Loyal, and Miyawaki forest cultivation is there in each and every one of our locations, and every year we are going in for new forestations in all our locations. Organic farms is something which is again one of the passions of our company, and we are doing it in Mayavaram, where the organic rice is being offered to all our employees also, apart from market. And Goshalas are there in each of our unit, and this is very pious and very much required for, and we don't kill the cows, and even the non-milking cows are there. In fact, almost 80% of the cows are non-milking, which is not productive for us as such, but it is a contribution to the society. And avoidance of paper use, we are using mostly e-paper. I mean, that means we don't use paper at all. Everything is on, let's say, digitalization. And we are expanding that to our sales and accounts also. That is where we are consuming printed paper now. And the circular economy campus, almost every one of our campus is a circular economy campus. Because of these, let us say, we have mentioned about 12 points here. There are more points. And similarly, we have got both biogas plants and also gobar gas plants in most of our campuses. And this gas is being used in our canteens and hostels. And vermiculture is going on in most of our plants. And since we have been almost most of our campuses are in between a forest. So we have got a lot of waste, bio waste, which is being used in the vermiculture. This is being used in our plantations. And finally, coming to waste recycling, that is what we are saying, that we are now, though we are using hard waste recycling only now, we have earlier used fabric waste recycling, which has been suspended due to contamination complaints, etc. We are reviving that without the fear of contamination, because we are putting up equipment right throughout our process to avoid contamination. And coming to the last part of saying thanks to everyone, I would like to first of all thank our organizing team. I always believe that the Loyal team, the dream team, is one of the best teams. And they have been doing a fantastic job of compiling everything and making this whole presentation very continuous and without any flaw of, we always call us technical glitches, without any technical glitches. I don't want to name one person. There is a big team working behind that. Thank you, Loyal team, dream team. We would also like to thank our management, right from our chairperson, Mrs. Valli Ramasamy, and our CEO, who have made this opportunity, given us this opportunity to put up this particular presentation. And it has been useful to every one of you. And we are definitely sure that we should thank our people who have made this successful. I'm coming to Mr. T. Kumar, Executive Director of Precot Mills. Actually, in fact, he has made a very detailed research into this topic. And initially, he sent us a presentation of 49 slides. So we were afraid of the time. That is why probably he was asking for 5 more minutes. And then we had requested him to reduce the number of slides. And he has obliged that at short notice. Only yesterday I requested him. And by yesterday, by 10 itself, yesterday, he has sent the revised one. And today morning, he has even sent a recorded program. So thank you, sir, and for your extreme research. And we really value your points. And we know that reduction, reuse, and recycle is the 3S formula instead of the like our 5S cleanliness formula. Then coming to the suggestions, sir has given us suggestions, 3 suggestions basically. That is 30% of textile production, our production, should be recycled, organic, or VSCTP. So we have to adhere to this. So in fact, he said that about 20,000 ring spindles in Precot are already using recycled products, and they are going to increase it to another 10,000 spindles. That means totally 30,000 spindles will be using recycled products or organic products. So similarly, we have to set some targets, and we have to set some high targets so that we can aspire to achieve them. So today, I would like to request our chairperson and CEO to permit me to set a high standard, high target of achieving 20,000 ring spindles and 2,000 OE rotors to process only value-added, recycled, sustainable products by the year 2023. That's December 2023. I think it is a tall order, but I'm sure that the Loyal Team, Dream Team will achieve that. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Coming to Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, he is not new to Loyal, like of course Mr. Kumar. Of course, Kumar and ourselves have been something like supplier and consumer relationship, whereas Mr. Ashok Sethuraman has been a knowledge provider for Loyal, and he has been auditing and conducting energy audits at Loyal Textile Mills for a long time. And most of the energy savings that we have achieved now, especially in LTM, is because of his audit. In fact, I have set a very tall tall target of achieving a UKG of 3.8, which is of course being achieved in most of the modern mills abroad. We were at about 4.4. Today at LTM, we have achieved 4, thanks to Mr. Ashok Sethuraman. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Ashok Sethuraman, of course, has given a very wonderful lecture. He has told us about IE3 motors. Sir, as you said, we have already gone through an arrangement with the Government of India's approved vendors for IE3 motor changes in our LTM. And the next in line is CTM, then BTM, and finally SCTM also will follow. So this is again headed by our ED, Mr. Vaidyanathan. Then similarly, he has told us many things about some things which I have learned today is that we should also concentrate on motors which are lower than 10 HP and pumps and fans as well, which probably we have missed out, especially the 10 HP motors and less, and pumps. So where we have to concentrate and achieve this. Similarly, he said that compressed air, instead of consuming 250 watts per CFM, it should be only 130 watts per CFM without sacrificing the, let us say, humidification plant's efficiency and humidity required and waste suction, etc. So we have what is called the differential pressure monitors based on IoT technology. We just finalized yesterday to be installed first as a pilot plant in LTM weaving A mill, so that we should be able to monitor the differential pressure pascals in various areas so that we can monitor them, and then because of IoT, it will be displayed digitally inside the mechanical engineer's room so that he can monitor all the 24 humidification plants by digital monitoring. Pneumophile air, he said that end-to-end Pascal monitoring is required, which is not there, which we will definitely do, sir. And reduce harmonics by harmonic filters, etc., which we have done in all the 5 plants in the past 3 years. But we have to concentrate more on harmonics because in the years to come, we may be penalized for that. Thank you, sir, for your suggestion. Similarly, he said generation, distribution, and usage of all the utilities, whether it is compressed air, humidification plants, power, everything, water, everything has to be looked at, all the 3, generation, distribution, and usage. So he has given us a lot of hints like this, which we will definitely take it into consideration. Yes, attic cooling is something which is already practiced in most of the textile mills abroad, but unfortunately in India, we have not practiced it in the past. We will definitely take this idea and we will incorporate in our mills, sir. Thank you, sir. And coming to Mr. A. Vellingari, our CEO, our beloved CEO of Loyal Textile Mills Limited, he has actually given us a warning, not a warming. So he has taken the excerpts from the Hindu and he said global warming. So we should, all of us, every individual should take this as a warning. It is not a global warming, it's a global warning. That is what CEO sir has said today. And let us take this as a warning and do it. Thank you, CEO sir, for your research and then your welcome address. Coming to Mr. Ramakrishnan, our Senior Vice President HR at Royal Textile Mills Limited, he had made a nice presentation about what he has listed the past, present, and future projects which we are putting up in our various mills for sustainability. So sustainability focus is there in all our mills due to our CMD and our chairperson, CEO, and also our ED, Mr. Vaidyanathan. And coming to Dr. M. Ramakrishnan, SCPHR, so he has also said what is the individual's responsibility. So what each and every human being can contribute. For example, if you are a vegetarian, you can contribute. So that is what he has proved scientifically. And fortunately, Loyal Kudumbam is a vegetarian Kudumbam. Individuals may be non-vegetarians, but Loyal Kudumbam is a vegetarian Kudumbam. We use only vegetarian food in all our campuses, hostels, DO. Nobody is allowed to bring even non-vegetarian food from outside. So we are already contributing, sir. Thank you for your suggestion. And he said, turn off the appliances whenever not required. So this is something I always used to tell every individual in Loyal, if you are going out of your room, please turn off your lights. Please turn off your air conditioner, fans, or whatsoever. Don't waste energy anywhere. That is something which will definitely ultimately contribute to your UKG. So every unit head should see that his own individuals in every mill adhere to this. And he also said, wash products, your clothes in cold water. This is also a very valuable suggestion because mostly we put it on a washing machine or drying machine. In washing machine, we simply put on the programmer, which gives a hot water, which is not really required for a day-to-day washing. Supposing I wear this shirt and the pant, I'm only inside an air-conditioned atmosphere, whether it is in office or car or home, then why should I use hot water to wash this? So he has also said that we should inspire others. Yes, we should be evangelists and inspire all others. That is one of the purposes of this day's celebration. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishnan. So finally, we should also thank all our attendees because, in fact, the actual digital meter shows only about 60 attendees, but actually there are 60 groups. Because, for example, in this room, we are about 5 people sitting here. So in the factories where there are training halls and conference halls, meeting rooms, in all the 5 factories, at least 30-40 people are attending in each. So almost 200 people to 250 people have attended today's seminar, and all your contributions are accepted, taken by them in a very positive manner. Thank you. Nandri, Vanakkam.